welcome back to the Drive Home Reviews podcast, where I review the movies that I have just seen as I am driving home from the theater. And folks, there are bad movies, and then there are films so atrocious that they boggle the mind. And I try my very, very best to go into these with an open mind and to give each film the benefit of the doubt despite what I might have seen or heard previously. Because I can tell you, I remember seeing the trailer for this thing and going, you have got to be fucking kidding me. But I try to put all that aside and come in with an open mind. And folks, I don't know what to say. I do not know how to describe what I've just witnessed, what I have just seen. This movie. Oh, okay, all right. We're gonna try to take this in chunks here. So, okay, let me start out by saying probably the only nice thing that I can say about this film, and the one place that I feel it proved me wrong from my initial assumptions, and that is, I don't feel that the people making this movie were complete and total idiots. I do believe, having seen it and seen what they've done with it, that their hearts were in the right place and they were trying to do something with the best of intentions. But as my grandpappy always used to say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And it's not as though an updated movie version of Animal Farm is in itself a bad idea, especially in our current political climate. Maybe a movie about how slimy and duplicitous people seize opportunities of great strife and upheaval. They prey upon fear and ignorance. They create scapegoats. They alter facts. They very subtly start to turn the rules of society around to suit them and then lie about it. You know, sadly, these are not things that a society has outgrown. In fact, we seem to have embraced them over the last couple decades. So perhaps a new version of Animal Farm is not in itself a bad idea. But somewhere along the line, somewhere amongst the production of this, it took some massive missteps. And I can boil them all down into one major issue. And it's not even necessarily the deviations from the source material. That's not necessarily where the major problem lies. You have to deviate from the source material when you are making a new adaptation. There have to be cuts, there have to be changes. So going through and nitpicking each and every one of them is not going to serve our purposes. What we have to look at are the major issues that led to these larger changes. And in my opinion, the big problem, the thing that led to every other major misstep in this thing is the bizarre decision that we were going to try to make this film a kiddie picture. That we were going to try to take Animal Farm and somehow make it palatable for a younger audience. And of course, you know, the people producing this are the Angel Studios, you know, because they want to create great, upstanding, moral-laden films. You know, they are so concerned about the children, they won't even call it alcohol or liquor. They call it naughty juice, because then otherwise children would know that alcohol exists.
Think of the children. Won't somebody please think of the children?
No, stop. Think of the children.
Think of the children. Won't somebody please think of the children?
So yeah, ironically, every single decision made to make this movie more palatable for children just ended up muddying the waters. You know what's fascinating about Animal Farm as a book, as a novella? And that is that it is deceptively simple. Okay? It does not try to overcomplicate. That's why it's written the way it's written, with the allegory of animals. The metaphor is not difficult to deduce. You know, this is, again, one of the reasons why we read this in high school. This is one of our first introductions to the concept of allegory and, you know, things representing different things. You know, that's why, because it's very easy to diagram. But the problem is that the story it's diagramming and the message that it is putting out there is a very, very bleak one. It is a unhappy story. Animal Farm does not end well for anybody. So, in their desire to make this deceptively simple story, but one that tells an unhappy tale, in their attempt to make this palatable to children, they end up overcomplicating everything. Okay, like, again, in the book, Napoleon is a schemer from the word go. He is manipulating every circumstance and doing it knowledgeably. That's terrible. He's doing it with complete foreknowledge. This is his plan. Here, Napoleon is a fat idiot, voiced by Seth Rogen. What a fucking surprise. Who kind of stumbles into this and then, you know, just starts, like, we don't really see why he's doing what he's doing, you know, because his allegory is completely lost. And then he becomes almost, they try to make him almost sympathetic, that he's being manipulated by the evil Landover. Oh yeah, that's another thing. This story isn't about the working class being mistreated, being starved and being neglected, being worked to death, who then stage a rebellion against their cruel masters to establish a seeming utopia, only to find it rotting from the inside out by the very people or creatures that led the rebellion. No, this is now all about how big corporations are crushing small farms, and Napoleon is driven to pure evil because, animals aren't being taken seriously, and this evil farm mogul is manipulating him. They want so bad for there to be a very easy to understand villain, and of course it's corporate America. Which, don't get me wrong, corporate America is trash. Not gonna try to deny that. But again, this has the same fucking problem. And I'm sorry, millennials, I'm sorry to crush one of your favorite movies, but this has the same fucking problem of the Onceler in that fucking trash Lorax movie from a few years back. How bad can I be? Really fucking bad. Because it misses the fucking point. That the Onceler is not supposed to be some sympathetic kid manipulated by truly evil people. He's supposed to be a short-sighted person who doesn't think about the long-term effects his actions have and then ends up regretting it and trying to convince the next generation not to make the same mistakes. And by giving him this fucking, hipster doofus look and his stupid goddamn song, you rob the movie of its point. And this movie does that as well, without Napoleon being a schemer and being out for himself from word one. The film has no clear allegory. It's all about big business being evil, and here comes the big business machine looking like something out of the fucking Tron universe to show us, no, it's good, hard-working animals that are the backbone of whatever. It's, again, the messaging is so mixed and so fucked up that you can't trace the clear, simple story of what Animal Farm is supposed to be about. A cautionary tale about the people in power. That's one of the other big problems that this movie has. And that is, it creates a brand new point of view character, and that is Lucky. This pig who's kind of on the fence, is kind of going with Snowball, but then also is corrupted by Napoleon, kind of the Anakin Skywalker of, the Animal Farm. And he's in there, and he's having Napoleon lie to him, and he's going, oh, okay. And again, I get what they're going for. They want us to be witnesses to this and to the hypocrisy, but again, it robs the story of its power. In the book, and also, I'm going to compare this to a far, far superior version of Animal Farm that was done back in the mid-90s. It was when I was in high school, ironically, shortly after I had actually read Animal Farm for my U.S. government class. And it was produced on TNT, and it was done in collaboration with the Henson Creature Shop. So it was live action with puppets. Real, very realistic animal puppets as the creatures. Had the voices of Patrick Stewart as Napoleon, had Ian Holm as Squealer, had Kelsey Grammer as Snowball, Pete Postlethwaite. Peter Ustinov was Old Major. Old Major, by the way, completely absent here. But anyway, in that film and in the book, the point of view of the audience is from the animals on the ground. In that movie, it was of a collie. And the point of both the book and that movie is that the changes that were being made were subtle. And the reason why animals went along with it was because as it kind of happened, the scary part is it made sense at the time. This is how fearmongers and dictators and orange monsters gain power. Is their talk, their rhetoric makes sense to stupid people at the time, and it's not until you wake up and realize just how far things have gone that you see how much shit you're in. So the book and the original movie, not even the original, there was another animated one years back, but that movie, which I think is the far superior adaptation, take the point of view of someone on the ground, of one of the animals living, first under Jones and then under the pigs. And we get to see how they very carefully gain control. But this movie doesn't want subtlety. It doesn't want any of that. It wants the kids to know that mass consumerism is wrong. Being on TikTok is evil. And, all of this is just awful. It's, yeah, like I said, I truly believe, as I said before, that I think the filmmakers' hearts are in the right place. But there comes a time when you have to ask yourself, why? I can hear people right now listening to this and going, well, how would you make an Animal Farm movie for kids? Well, 2 ways. Number 1, I fucking wouldn't. Okay? I fucking wouldn't make Animal Farm a kids movie. It's not supposed to be a kids movie. Alright? Make Charlotte's Web if you want to make a farm movie for kids. Don't fucking make Animal Farm. Once again, there's a reason why we read this shit in high school and there's not a big picture book of Animal Farm, for kindergartners. Wait until they're old enough to understand it. So that would be my first option. But second, if you truly feel like this is a thing that must exist, then I'm sorry, I gotta pull my 80s card.
It was the 80s. Stuff got real.
This was the 80s, man. There were no helmets. It was a wild place.
Because say what you will about the movies of the 80s, but why movies from the 80s, kids movies from the 80s especially, really sit with people of my generation, even the ones designed strictly to sell us toys. You know why they stick with us? Because almost to a one, with very few exceptions, those movies did not talk down to us. They treated us like people who could handle shit. And I don't know if that was just their thinking or if they even didn't think about it. I always think back to Transformers the movie, and the creators there said they didn't even think about the impact watching the entire original cast get brutally gunned down in the first 10 minutes was going to have. They were just clearing out the toy line. But to the kids watching, it said, this is war. This is a cartoon about war, and in war, people die. It didn't hold back, whether it meant to or not. Okay, you want more to the point? You want to go even younger? Look at the movies of Don Bluth. American Tail. Land Before Time. All Dogs Go to Heaven. These are fucked up movies where bad shit happens. American Tail is fucking terrifying. I remember being scared shitless of it when I was a kid. Almost as bad as I was of Pinocchio. Land Before Time, it doesn't shy away from, Littlefoot's mom dying. Fucking All Dogs Go to Heaven, a very religious film made by a devout Mormon. And yet that movie had more balls than this film. Because if you're gonna make this movie, if you're gonna make Animal Farm for kids, if you feel like that is something that has to be done, then fucking make Animal Farm. Okay? I don't even mind if you necessarily give it a happy ending, because even Don Bluth said that kids will sit through just about anything as long as there's a happy ending, and he's pretty much right. So even if you have to do that, but the TNT movie had, if not a happy ending, at least a less bleak one. You know, the idea that Napoleon eventually died, as all dictators eventually do. Let's all cross our fingers. And, you know, that the new generation was going to come in, and were they going to learn from the lessons of the past? Were they going to be better than what came before? We don't know. We'll have to see if they learn. That was the ending to that film, which worked great in my opinion. It's not quite the downer ending of the original book, but it keeps the tone and the mood. But this film, no, it has to tell you that all the problems of the world are going to be solved by a zany scheme. All we have to do is ho 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 and go and go do this, and let's do a Ocean's 11 heist, and everything will be okay. All the bad people will go away. And that's not the world we live in, folks. And that's not the world Animal Farm was trying to warn us about. Okay? The book ends the way it does because it's supposed to make you go, oh shit, this is bad. I mentioned this is just piling on, just another example I just remembered. So again, one of the problems with Lucky as our narrator is, again, he is aware of Squealer changing the commandments. He knows that he's doing it. And he knows that Napoleon is lying to the other animals when he says, no, that's not, it's not that, animals shan't drink naughty juice, it's that they shouldn't drink naughty juice to excess. But again, when your narrator is on the ground, you see how people like him gaslight and say that, no, it never said that. It always said this. Don't you remember? Okay, the best I can say about this movie is I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to, because again, I felt from the trailers and whatnot that this movie just completely didn't care, just kind of took the names and was trying to make a goofy Bible kids movie. Veggie Tales Go to Animal Farm, essentially. And I don't believe that is what happened. I do believe that Andy Serkis and the voice cast and everybody, I do think they were trying to do something. And do something good. I do believe that. And the old adage, nobody sets out to make a bad movie. But somewhere in there, in their desire to make this so kid and family friendly, in their desire to appease, the Angel Studios or whoever, or whatever their reasoning, they lost the thread. They lost the point. And I think it's great you're trying to make morally uplifting stories for kids. I don't think there is inherently anything wrong in that. But I'm sorry, guys, some stories don't end happily. Some stories are nasty and ugly and reveal the true darkness of the world we live in. And yes, I do think that is something that people need to be made aware of. Young people need to be made aware of it. But if you're gonna do it, don't get castrated. Don't cut its balls off so much that it doesn't exist for the purposes it existed in the first place. And like I said, I was concerned about this movie, and one of my concerns was was proven correct, that, yeah, it doesn't want to make the argument that, you know, this is a politician warping reality and gaslighting people and abusing power and blaming everything on his political rivals. I have a little bit of a problem with both Napoleon and Snowball being kind of scumbags in this. I think that was a bizarre choice. I guess trying to make it show that no one party is always right or always good. I understand that, but, you know, I do find it a little concerning that, again, a lot of the political elements of this have been removed or watered down or glossed over or given this other sheen of it's this corporation that's really the bad guy. That does concern me, especially when you consider that Angel Productions has had a pretty vocal advocate in another orange pig that tends to do all the things Napoleon Napoleon does. You know, just it's kind of interesting that, and I can hear some of you in the back going, why are you trying to make this political? You know why I'm trying to make this political? Because it's fucking Animal Farm. Being political is the entire reason the fucking thing exists. And if you don't have the balls, if you don't have the fucking balls to take it to the person who, by his very nature, corrupts and uses your belief system to manipulate you into following him, then fuck you. Again, this movie was not as misguided as I thought it was going to be, but that doesn't mean that it's good. That doesn't mean that it isn't still misguided. I am tempted to call this film a steaming pile of pig shit, but the problem is pig shit is actually useful. Pig shit serves a purpose. And while this movie might have tried to serve that purpose, it failed. It failed big time. So, yeah. I don't know what else to say about this, and everything else I say is just looping back over the same points. So let's pull the plug right here. So final grade for Animal Farm, it's an F. Guys, it's grade F meat. There is no reason to watch this fucking movie. The only reason to watch this movie is because you're one of these people that wants to wrap your kids up in this snuggly little lie that everything is fine and all bad people can be easily spotted and, you know, all bad things can be undone if we just all hold together and hold hands. If that's the kind of person you are, then yeah, go see this fucking movie. It reinforces your very scarily limited worldview. But other than that, don't do it, folks. I watched it so you don't have to. Don't give it your money. So there you have it. Okay. So thank you for coming along. Thank you for listening to me rant. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And we will see you back here next time. So thanks for joining us. And as always, drive safe. And I will see you at the movies.